All right, so we're diving deep today, getting into like this whole success thing, personal development, all that jazz.
Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of advice here. It's like they tried to like condense it all down,
Yeah, yeah,
make it like a cheat sheet almost.
exactly. And some of it is a little unexpected.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Like one of the things that really popped out to me was this idea about trying, like just trying things. It's better than like overthinking, right?
Definitely. It's like they're saying action is key. You can't just sit around and like think about stuff all day.
One of the authors even said that overthinking, it's almost, it's like procrastination, basically.
Yeah, I can see that. You're just delaying the inevitable, right?
Yeah, you're not really learning until you actually like do something.
Exactly. It's like that 10,000-hour rule, right?
Oh,
You
yeah.
can't become a master at something just by reading about it. You got to put in the time, make those mistakes, learn from them.
Yeah, and it's not just about getting better either.
Yeah.
Like taking action, it actually makes the whole process more enjoyable.
Oh, for sure. I mean, think about it. When you're just passively taking in information, it can get pretty boring pretty fast. But when you're actually out there doing something with that knowledge, using it to create, to build, to experiment, that's when things get really exciting.
Totally. And one of the authors even said that knowledge without action, it just leads to boredom, straight up.
Yeah, makes sense. And that kind of leads into this whole idea of trying as a strategy, right? It's not about having everything perfectly planned out. It's about taking that first step, even if you're not 100% sure where you're going.
Yeah, one of the authors had this analogy I thought was great. He said, as long as we don't cross the bridge, we'll never reach the other side.
That's a good one. It's like they're encouraging this flexible mindset, like don't be afraid to fail. Failure is just a part of the process. It's just another step on the road to success.
Yeah, they're really reframing failure. It's not this big, scary thing. It's just, like you said, a stepping stone.
Exactly. It's all about learning and adapting, right? And and speaking of learning, one of the things that really stood out to me was that point about teaching.
Oh, yeah, yeah. If you can't explain something simply, you probably don't understand it well enough yourself.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like when you have to explain something to someone else, it forces you to really understand it on a deeper level.
Yeah, it forces you to break it down into its simplest form.
Yeah.
And, in that process, you might realize, hey, I don't actually know this as well as I thought I did.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. It means you're learning, you're growing.
It's like practice makes perfect,
Yeah,
right? But maybe it's more like practice makes progress.
there you go. And that brings us to this question of like, what should we be focusing our efforts on? What are the things that are really going to move the needle?
Right. What are those high impact activities?
Exactly. And one thing that your sources really emphasized was this idea of building meaningful connections.
Okay, so it's not just about like networking, right? Like going to events and collecting business cards.
No, it's deeper than that. It's about becoming the kind of person that others want to recommend.
It's about being someone who genuinely adds value to other people's lives.
Right. It's like you're attracting the right people into your life by focusing on your own growth and development.
I like that. So building a reputation based on like authenticity and real contribution.
Exactly. And that ties into this broader theme of finding fulfillment, not just in your career, but in all areas of your life. One of the sources talked about finding joy in both work and play.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like imagine a life where you're excited to wake up every morning because you love what you do, and then when you're not working, you're still finding joy and fulfillment in your hobbies and your relationships.
It sounds pretty ideal. But, it's like, how do we get there? It's easy to get bogged down by the fear of failure.
Oh, absolutely. Fear of failure is a huge obstacle for a lot of people. But your sources had some really interesting advice on that front.
Yeah, they did. They had a lot to say about mindset.
Right. It's all about shifting your perspective. Instead of fearing failure, they encourage you to embrace it. See it as a stepping stone to success.
So instead of trying to avoid failure at all costs, maybe we should be like leaning into it a bit.
Exactly. Each time you fail, it's an opportunity to learn and grow. It's like, okay, that didn't work. What can I do differently next time?
So failure is not the end of the world. It's just like feedback.
Precisely. It's information that helps you get closer to your goals. And, speaking of goals, your sources also talked a lot about financial success.
Yeah, that's a big one. And there were some Some pretty interesting takes on money in there.
Definitely. One idea that I found particularly thought-provoking was this concept of using money to make more money.
Yeah, it's about shifting from a mindset of consumption to investment.
Exactly. It's not about hoarding your money away. It's about putting it to work for you, making it grow.
And one author even went so far as to say, don't wait until you feel worthy to experience superior things. Spend on them to become worthy.
That's a bold statement, but there's some truth to it, right? If you're constantly surrounding yourself with things that inspire you, that challenge you, that push you to grow, it can have a profound impact on your mindset.
Yeah, it's like fake it till you make it.
In a way, yeah. But it's more than just faking it. It's about making a conscious decision to invest in yourself and your growth, whether it's through experiences, education, or even material things that elevate your everyday life.
I think that's a great place to wrap things up. This has been a fascinating deep dive. I feel like we've uncovered some really valuable insights.
Absolutely. And as you go out into the world, remember this. If knowledge without action leads to boredom, what one small action can you take today? Inspired by what we've talked about. It doesn't have to be something huge, just one small step in the right direction.
Because even small steps, they can add up to big changes over time.
Exactly. So get out there and start taking action. Who knows what amazing things you might achieve?
And if you want to dig even deeper into these ideas, make sure you check out the source material. We'll have all the links for you in the show notes.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving for success.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.